Hey guys, welcome back to another week of Autastic, your comedian's guide to autism. I'm one of your hosts. My name is Kirk Smith.
I'm Graham K. Hello, everybody.
Boom.
Yes.
We are in the studio apartment in beautiful.
This isn't a
Greenpoint?
studio apartment.
That's a good point.
This is a one-bedroom apartment. We've been through this. We're not as poor as we were when we started. We also don't live together, but I made it sound like we did. Anyway, we both used to live in studio apartments at
Different
one point.
studio apartments,
Yes.
but yes, 2 men in the studio
But
apartment
now-
would be tough.
Now, through the sheer success of this podcast, the millions of dollars we've made through this podcast, and only that, we both live in our own one-bedroom apartments. Still alone, but working on it.
Less sad.
Less sad.
Good lighting here.
Yes. Yeah, not bad. This is the Comedian's Guide to Autism. Kirk has a adult son with autism. I have an adult brother with autism. Peter's doing great. I like I said in the previous episodes, the most recent few episodes, I gave him my girlfriend's email address, and he is emailing her. I told him to email only once a month, and he is doing it five times a day. Not quite, but he is emailing, I would say, 2 to 3 times a week.
Okay.
And I also gave Greg Stone, a comedian friend of mine, his email, and he's been emailing. They've been talking about figures. But now Peter has just incorporated them to his mass emails. And he he sent one today, just like an hour and a half ago, where he's just like, hey, my volunteer came over and we made tuna melt sandwiches. Here's a couple pics of me making a tuna melt sandwich. And then Greg Stone calls me and is like, I answered. I'm like, hey, man, first thing I say is like, hey, is Peter emailing you too much? Because the email just came out, and then I get a call from Greg. And he's like, no. It made me so happy. And he said a bunch of nice stuff, and I was like, hey, can you just repeat that?
We should give him a call.
We should give him a call. Have him on the pod.
This is Greg Stone. You can look him up. He's a regular at the Comedy Cellar.
Comedy Cellar. He's a regular New York guy. He's got a great new podcast called Friday Night Greg. It's Friday Night Greg Stone on the phone, everybody.
What up, dogs?
So yeah, I just sort of set up like how Peter sent an email with the tuna melt sandwiches and how you called me, and I was just like, can you just repeat what you said to me and like what it means to you to get those pictures and stuff?
Yeah, do they know about the action figure stuff?
They know about the action figure stuff, yeah, in past
They know.
episodes. You've been mentioned.
Well, that's good to know. I just want everyone to know I'm a hero.
Yes,
Who,
you are a hero.
No, so Peter sends me, I sent them a picture of a bunch of action figures that were like, hey, like, it's so funny to be like, he's one of the only people I can send pictures of like toys and action poses to.
Yeah.
So like, we have this like he gets so happy about it that I'm like, oh, I'm going to send you every picture of every figure I have.
Yeah.
And so he would respond. And then I recently saw that one of my responses wasn't really to me. And I was like, oh, what is this? And it was like, it says to all the 33 of you. And so I guess he's got a whole like team now.
Yeah.
And I was like, your mindset when you look at your emails is you go like, oh, this is an email with a bunch of people. This is someone selling me their podcast or some bull.
Yeah.
And I go, no, wait, this is Peter. This is going to be great. So I open it, and it's just him making a tuna melt. It's just 2 pictures of him making a tuna melt, and it was unadulterated joy that I got. And I was like, oh, right, this isn't my comedy friends or Borders sending me like a coupon or so much. This is just a man being like, look at this sandwich. And I almost started crying. I was like, I will read every one of these emails. This is just like real joy and real like unadulterated life. And I'm like, you were like Greg, I'll tell him to stop. I'm like, no, tell him to send me more.
Yeah.
There's nothing better than getting a 6-sentence email with just a picture of him with his sandwiches. It's like, oh, this is great. Everyone should get this.
Yeah, good. That made me I was welling up when you called me and told me that. That makes me so happy. I
don't remember exactly what I said to you, but I think it was something along those lines.
Something like that.
But it was real.
Yeah. Very sweet.
But yeah,
I was worried that he was
great.
sending too much, and you're just like, no. You were like, as long as he doesn't mind that I can't always respond. And I called him on the way here. After I talked to you, I called Pete, and he was like, no, that's fine. And I was like, Peter, he says that he likes the emails, and even though he can't respond because he's busy, he likes getting them because sometimes if he's having a bad day, this is what you told me, that sometimes he's having a bad day, he opens them up and it makes him feel good. And he goes, he's having a bad day? Oh, no. And I go, no, just sometimes people have a bad day. He's like, with what? And I'm like, oh, I don't know. I start making up stuff. I like, maybe comedy or maybe his wife. And he goes, what's wrong with his wife? I'm like, no, his wife's fine. I don't know. Yeah. But anyway,
so great. It's so great.
I just wanted to have you on quickly and just sort of say that. And thanks so much for being a good dude. And everyone, I bless you, Kirk. And everyone should check out Friday Night Greg, Greg's new podcast called Friday Night Greg. That's it.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks. So, am I ever gonna meet him? Is he ever coming to New York?
Yeah, we're gonna organize a trip when the borders are open up. I think, he'll come. He was supposed to come last year, but So.
I want to do lunch.
Yeah. Oh, that'll be great.
Real business meeting.
Yeah.
You already have a preview of what it's going to be like. You've got the pictures. It's going to be great. It's going to have tuna melts. It's going to be great. Made with love. The secret ingredient's love.
Oh, Kirk!
Yeah, we know each other.
Yes. The name your voice. As soon as the voice clicked, I was like, "Yes, okay," because Kirk Smith. I didn't get it, and this is so funny. Sorry to do this to you, but when you were like, you know him, I went, yeah. I pretended the phone went out.
I noticed that. I'm like, I don't have the heart to tell him. We've met a dozen times. I'm like, I've known you for 15 years.
We know each other very well. I needed to hear your voice.
You pretended, back up. You pretended the phone went out? This is earlier, before the podcast. We called Greg to set this up. And then he just went, yep. I've never heard of someone actually doing that other than in a rom-com.
That's a solid move, man. That's a solid move. Oh, it's funny.
Here's the thing that happens in comedy. You have comedy worlds that don't collide. Like the Graham is in my Louis Katz world. Yeah. Kirk, you're in the the other world. The guy I see you at the park, at the Lantern, those worlds. Yes. And so sometimes like the out of context. Sure. It's not that I know you well. We've had great conversations. If I see you, I know your name. There's that.
I know. That's why I was like, what in the world's happening? This is a real power move here.
Yeah.
The voice didn't click immediately, and as soon as the voice clicked, I went, "Oh, Kirk! That's Kirk! Yes, of course."
Yeah, like a knockoff Nick Cage, like a dumber Nick Cage.
Yeah.
No, man, it's like not even that's not even like literally. I have been. Someone has been like, "Hey, talk to Anthony," and I go, "Anthony who?" And they're like, "Your best friend, Anthony." And I'm like, "Oh, right."
Yeah.
My brain doesn't click right.
I'm the same. I'm the exact same. I notice I've been quiet the whole time because I do this all the time. I forget Kirk's name all the time. Yeah.
I'm here to record at your house. I can't remember whose house this is, but I'm here to record.
Yeah.
Can I tell you this other thing real quick? Sorry.
Sure.
I don't know. I know this is supposed to be real quick. But my brain does these weird things where it won't lock. And I was talking about this the other day. Masters of the Universe, which is like He-Man.
Yeah.
My whole life.
Peter loves it.
What?
My brother loves Masters. Yeah.
Right. So my whole life, you see the sign that says Masters of the Universe. I swear to God, I was 25 years old when I looked at it and went, that doesn't say He-Man? Because... as a kid, I couldn't read. So I just assumed it said He-Man, and I never actually read it until I looked at it and went, that says Masters of the Universe. I just accepted the symbol of He-Man, but never really read the words. So I'm like 20.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It does make sense. I've gone through entire relationships doing that to what women have said to me, and their faces. Greg, so before we go, I just want to say thank you very much, and you're a great guy. Yep.
Oh, that was funny.
Greg Stone, great guy. We'll have to bleep out a couple of those words.
3. You get to edit this week. Whoa!
I know. Yeah. Just so you know, listeners, the YouTube version might have a couple swears in it.
You can cut it. It's easy.
But anyway, yeah, so that's how Peter's doing. That's my week in review for Peter.
That was really funny. That was a real power move when he's like, Kirk, who? I'm like, are you serious? I've known you for a long time. It's really funny.
How's JJ doing?
You know, JJ, okay, so we have these daily calls, right? 2 o'clock, and he hasn't called yet today, but I'm keeping an eye on it.
Mm-hmm.
And usually they call me 8 o'clock when he's getting his nighttime medicine. As long-term listeners know, he's on some medication.
Uh-huh.
And then they have to give him a snack so he won't take the medicine on an empty stomach.
Mm-hmm.
Now, my son is 6 foot, 6'1", 260 pounds, so he's not missing any meals. He's a big boy.
Yeah.
But he eats that food every day when he calls me like it's his last meal.
Yeah.
And he's in a prison yard and somebody's going to steal it from him because he's going to like arms out and he's just powering through it. And he does this move with the yogurt. And he licks the spoon and he does like he's got a whole, and I'm like, nobody's coming to take your food. It's going to just talk to me for 1 minute. So that was yesterday's call. It's just like, it was the cutest. And he started, somebody asked me, do you think he misses you? And well, I know he misses me because they started sending me pictures of him they have a daily schedule that they put out, and I could pull this up so their YouTube listeners can see it. They put a daily schedule out of what's happening for the day. So it's like you've got, there's a little picture of a car. We're gonna go for a drive, and there's a little picture of the dentist if they have to go to the dentist, and there's a little picture of. So he's taken to, if I can find this fast enough, he's taken to putting little pictures of me up on the schedule. So it's like,
oh my God.
Yeah. So like Monday, he like wanted to see me. So I'm on the schedule. So he put my fat little face on the.
Put that closer.
I don't know if you can see this. Walk it all the way up. Oh yeah, that's me.
Oh man. Oh, so do you think he means like calling?
No, because calling's later in the day.
So he wants you to be there in person.
He wants me to be there in person. Yeah. So that made me feel good and bad, like most of life. And that was Monday, right? That was Monday.
He loves his dad.
Yeah, he loves his dad. So it's cute.
Oh man.
It's a crying day for Graham. This is a tough one for you.
Oh, jeez. That's nice.
So he's doing good. He's power eating his yogurt and hard bread. They've got this hard bread in Sweden that he loves. And it's like a giant thick cracker covered in cheese or butter. And he's doing good.
I want that.
It's very good.
Ooh.
Great fiber if having issues.
Mm-hmm.
You can get it at IKEA.
Which is a sponsor of this podcast at this point.
It should be, honestly.
Yeah.
He's product tested everything. He's broken everything from IKEA.
Mm-hmm.
And
so that's great. That's a good week in review.
Should we do the news?
Let's do in the news.
This was kind of ties into our interview with your buddy who doesn't know me. Age inappropriate. This is on verywellhealth.com.
Yeah.
Age inappropriate interests and behaviors in autism, causes, impacts, and how to help your child. People with autism at every age, and severity tend to be quote unquote young for their age. In other words, they tend to have at least some interest, behaviors, and emotional responses that would be expected in a much younger person. Often these differences are mild enough or unobtrusive enough that they do not cause problems. Sometimes, however, Age-inappropriate interests and behaviors can interfere with a person's ability to fulfill their goals. When this happens, it's possible to take constructive action.
Mm-hmm.
There are a number of unrelated reasons why people with autism are often intrigued by childish activities, TV shows, and behaviors, even as teenagers and adults. These stem from and include aspects of autism itself, but also include socialization, education, and therapies that are commonly experienced by children with autism. Here we go. How autism can lead to age-inappropriate behaviors, interests, and behaviors. Some of the core symptoms of autism include rigidity or lack of willingness to change and a need for a routine, a lack of imitative skills or awareness of other people's expectations,
Mm-hmm.
perseverance, pervasivity, or
That's a tough one.
repetitive behaviors. Yeah, sorry about that.
That's okay. That was a tough one.
I'm learning to read here.
Well.
Special interests or quote-unquote passions and emotional immaturity. All these symptoms can, in many instances, lead to age-inappropriate interests and behaviors. The good news is
Age inappropriate?
age-inappropriate.
Greg would have something to say about that.
Well, yeah. I think that is his passion. He-Man, Masters of the Universe. The good news is there are many ways to help your child develop more sophisticated interests and behaviors without asking them to give up their passions. Rigidity and a need for a routine. Once a child with autism has learned and mastered a particular routine, it can be very difficult for them to change it. However, in the United States, children are expected to master multiple routines at once: home routine, school routine, and summer routine. And these routines are constantly changing. The kindergarten routine may include learning centers and nap time, while the first grade routine may include lining up at the cafeteria or sitting in rows. For a child with autism, this change can be overwhelming, especially if it comes without warning. The outcome can be age-inappropriate behaviors or interests that come from well-learned and well-loved routines. How long is this article? Is we going to read this whole thing? Oh, boy. This is... Ooh.
I swear, we look over these articles before.
But then when I read it out loud, it seems like it's taking me forever.
Yeah.
Am I reading slow?
No.
All
Just,
right.
that's why books on tape take longer than reading.
Okay. Pervasive behaviors or stereotypical behaviors, sometimes referred to stimming behaviors, self-calming, movements such as rocking or pacing, mumbling. They can also refer to well-established behavioral routines that can quickly become age-inappropriate.
I don't like the term age inappropriate. Not typical for an age, maybe.
Atypical?
Yeah. Like, how is it inappropriate? Like, is Peter watching Spider-Man inappropriate?
Oh, you mean it implies like something nefarious?
Yeah, like his private parts aren't out on a bus.
Right.
You know, he's...
Yeah, it's more like he's in an uncommon way, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm not offended, for God's sakes, but the verbiage doesn't make sense to me.
For example, it may take longer for an autistic child to, for example, end thumb sucking, complete toilet training. Yeah, JJ's like 11. Stop carrying around stuffed animals, stop crying when frustrated, and they may need to do the same thing in the same way over and over. Instead of feeling excited about new toys and interests, they may...
Maybe JJ taking off his pants is age inappropriate at IKEA.
Yeah, especially if there's...
All right.
Especially if they have to tell them, don't touch your penis. Don't touch your penis.
I'm back on board. Okay. I get it now.
Special interests and passions. People with autism may be particularly fascinated by a special interest and find it may be impossible to focus on anything else. These interests may change over time, but often people with the autism spectrum are made fascinated by the same things over time, even when the object of their fascination is intended for a younger child.
Right.
That makes sense. I'm jumping ahead. Emotional immaturity. There's a myth that people with autism are emotionless. In fact, most people with autism have very strong emotions. JJ, very strong. You will know when he's mad because there is a meltdown. Often autism makes it hard to manage frustrating feelings, fear, or anxiety, and the outcome can be emotional outbursts or quote-unquote meltdowns. Meltdowns are relatively common even among people with very high-functioning autism. They can be the result of sensory overload, anxiety, which is common with people with autism, or frustration. It is not unusual for a teen with autism who is otherwise bright and capable to suddenly explode in anger or burst into tears, much like a child. Causes related to socialization, education, and therapies. Many children with autism are educated in a small special needs setting, protected from potential negative interactions, and provided with therapists that support the idea that every positive behavior will be rewarded. In many cases, the bar is lower for children with autism. They may not be taught the same skills as their peers, and they may may be included in activities that require little or no competition.
Mhm.
That's true, JJ. Yeah. These experiences have the potential to keep children with autism from learning the social, physical, and emotional skills that tend to engage inappropriately with their peers. Children with autism may be offered opportunities to engage in sports without fully understanding how a game is played or
Right.
without demonstrating the skills required to play the game correctly. Yeah.
Yeah, Peter just jacking up threes when he played basketball.
Touch the ball, shoot the ball.
But I like to shoot. What Peter said. I was like, Peter, you gotta pass, and he just jacks up a three. I was like, Peter. He goes, but I like it, and it swished. It was awesome.
That's funny. ABA, or the quote-unquote gold standard of autism therapy, is based on the concept of reinforcement or rewards. JJ's done that a lot for appropriate behaviors and actions. While children do learn a wide range of skills through ABA, some get stuck, quote-unquote, in the expectations that every positive action deserves a prize. That's true. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm going to jump ahead. Why age inappropriate interests and behaviors matter. Here we go. Why does it matter? While many adults are interested in and participate in activities that reflect their childhood interests, they do so with an age perspective and sensibility. The same is true of older children and teens who may remember their childhood fondly, but are unlikely to take the Wiggles seriously as a musical group. For children, teens, and adults with autism, think and behave like young children, they are likely to distance themselves from their same peer groups, creating a less than equal relationship and in some cases alienating potential friends.
Mm-hmm.
The preservation.
You're never gonna make trying to bend who you are and what you like to acclimate yourself to another person. It'll never work out in the end anyway.
But the preservation of childlike interests, especially when combined with childlike behaviors, can also have a negative impact on work relationships and opportunities, relationships with the community, and potential romantic relationships.
You gotta find. It's hard, but you gotta find somebody who's
Same level.
somewhat in your level.
It's tough out there.
It's tough out there,
It's for all of us.
especially you.
Especially because people can't remember me 15 years later.
You're doing great.
Increased age, inappropriate interests and behaviors. We're at a time when nerd culture, quote unquote, is cool. Not to me, but to Greg Stone it is.
Greg Stone.
And typical teens and adults dress up as superheroes and go to conventions, cons, and their entire culture subgroups are formed online and in person around interests such as children's TV shows, video games, Disney trivia, and other autism-friendly subjects. That means that some individuals with autism can find like-minded friends who are just as passionate as they are. Hey!
Yay.
The definition of age inappropriate has changed, and that's a good thing for teens and adults with autism. It is, however, important for the teens and adults with autism to understand that teens and adults' interests are expressed differently from childhood interests. Here are some tips for helping your child get toward a more sophisticated and adult interests and behaviors. Okay, this could be good. Help your child explore their passions in a more sophisticated way. If you're interested in Thomas the Tank Train, they may enjoy train rides and train museums. If they're Disney fans, they may enjoy Disney collectibles. Help your child build strong interests in their area of interest. Strong skills in their area of interest. Rather than accepting any level of effort as good enough, help your child build their skills during their childhood years. If they're interested in sports, they may need extra coaching. If they love drawing, art classes may be appropriate. Okay. Introduce new opportunities that are similar to those they're passionate about. If your child watches the same TV show and movies repeatedly, expose them to more sophisticated shows with similar themes. If they like collecting toy cars, they may be interested in antique toys. Find authentic outlets where your child's interests and knowledge will be appreciated. If they know exactly how to dress as a beloved Marvel character, they may be a real hit at a cosplay at a regional con. All right, there you go. Raise the bar for unexpected behavior. Most children with autism can increase their self-knowledge and self-discipline with help and support.
Right.
Many available tools are available, blah, blah, blah. Take it slow. One new interest or skill is an important step in the right direction. Summary, people with autism may have age-inappropriate interests and behaviors. This may be due to parents can help a child with autism channel their passions and interests to a more appropriate for their age. That's it.
You did it.
We did it.
I mean, I was fading at the end of that
I
article.
think you fell asleep towards the end. Forgot my name.
Who are you? it's a pretty straightforward article.
Pretty straightforward.
I guess it's
I do like the idea for JJ. I like the idea of trying to, while not reject his interest in specific things, try to expand it, like the Thomas the Train to expand it to trains.
Yeah.
Or I think that's a good idea.
yeah.
He does like the Wiggles, so I was like, maybe we could try to expand that to get him interested in Australia. I don't know.
No.
I think those guys are Australians. You know the
JJ just puts former prison state on the board, on the PAX board. Prison. Country.
where art happens.
He's learning a lot.
I think this is a weird thing, but I think 2 years ago, they were the they were one of the top ranked live revenue generating live touring bands.
Oh, the Wiggles?
The Wiggles of all.
So funny.
Isn't that insane?
It's like they're beating the Rolling Stones. And
Yeah.
Hilarious. Okay, well, did we do another episode?
We did it.
Go to our Patreon at patreon.com to donate, patreon.com/Autastic. Kirk thinks that this iPad there, we have an iPad with the logo
It's
up.
corny.
It's corny, but it's what we got.
The Graham loves it.
I think it's good. A little bit of flav.
Put your notes in the, you know how this works. If you comment in the video, it helps us. Comment in the video. You like this thing?
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know who I am? Are we longtime friends, but you forgot? Do you have amnesia?
Anyway, I'm at Instagram, K on Instagram. That's Kirk Smith Comedy over there. And also subscribe and rate and review. You know the drill.
Tell a friend.
Tell a friend. For God's sakes, tell a friend. Sorry about all the swears. I'll bleep them.
Have a great week, guys. You can do it.